Yeah, so we did an episode recently about shame. If you haven't listened to that episode, make sure you do. We talk a lot about feelings of shame and whatnot, but we did mention something to the degree of like if you have a kink or you have something you want to try with your partner, rather than having shame about it, talk about it. So we wanted to talk about some tips for that, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we this is what we encourage. We want you to enthusiastically share your kinks with your partner or your potential sex partner. We want you to address it in a positive way, in a way that's exciting, that it's an opportunity to experience something new, something that you really like,
Yes, exactly.
right?
Yeah, you don't want to be like, oh, like feel if you're feeling bad about that, and then you're bringing it up in a way to your partner where you're feeling embarrassed or shameful, they might not really be that enthusiastic to try it with you.
Right. It could alter their response. They
Exactly.
might be a bit turned off.
But if you're like, oh, I've got this thing that I want to try, and it's new for me, but I'm really excited about it, that might spark more interest, right?
Yeah. And like, let's do an example.
Okay.
Like, one time I asked a guy to dom me, and I did it in a very confident, enthusiastic way. And I was also very prepared. So there's being enthusiastic, and there's also being prepared for a no.
Right.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
was prepared for that no, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Luckily, he said yes, and it was awesome. But I was also prepared for him to say no, and that would be okay as well.
Yeah,
So you have
definitely.
to remember that if somebody says no to you after you've presented something enthusiastically with the right amount of information, that's okay. They
You
are,
have to respect that.
yeah, and they're telling you that they cannot fulfill your fantasy to the highest degree.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's if you offer something to somebody that way and they say no, they've thought it through because you've been able to say all the points that you wanted to make. If you say it in a way where you haven't made the points yet, then you might have this regret or this doubt that they may have said yes,
Yeah.
and you might not be able to move on and go find the person that you actually want to be with.
Yes, and my other tip would be baby steps, right? Because it can be also overwhelming to a person if you come to them and you say, "Oh, here's another example. Oh, I really want to be dressed in, you're a male, what was the PC way? You're
A
you're
cis
a
man.
cis man, male identified man, and you want to be dressed in women's underwear. Well, that might be a bit much for someone who hasn't really tried a lot of this stuff before. So, one thing you could, rather than going to the extreme for that person, you can do baby steps. So, you can say something like, I'm really exploring some of my interests. I really like the feel of the fabric of women's clothing. That really seems to turn me on in a certain way. You know what I mean? And then slowly see how they respond to that, and then slowly go from there and gradually work up to whatever it is you wanted to do. But baby steps, I think, are would be key as well.
And
If
when it comes to baby steps, still don't be afraid to say ultimately what you do really want.
That's true. Yeah.
Because we don't like being tricked as human beings.
No.
Okay, so if somebody says to me, I just like the feel of women's clothing, but really they want to put my panties on, right? You can say, I want to put your panties on. We don't have to do it right away. I would love for us to take baby steps in that direction.
Yeah. I'm also taking, one thing I never fails to amaze me is, me and Rosa aren't this. People are very shy. So this is why I bring this up, because I
Yeah.
know how inherently shy human beings are. And I think a lot of people have trouble saying out loud, what really turns them on a lot of the time.
Yeah. So practice that. Find a way that you can communicate it safely and with enthusiasm, and then find your group of people.
Yeah.
So go on fetlife.com, find your
Yeah.
group of people. Whatever you like, there's other people out there who like it too. So connect with them, get support, get tips on how to realize that fantasy or that kink in the fullest way. And then if not, you might have to move. If you live in a small town, get the hell out of there and move to a big city because there will be people there
Yeah,
that love what you
you
like.
can connect with people online too. You can do a lot of this stuff virtually. And again, we spoke about this in Shame, once you do experiment with whatever your fantasy is, you might decide that after having done it, it's not even, you don't even want to do it anymore.
Yeah, so don't
So
make it like such a big
it's not a
deal.
big deal,
Yeah,
you
just do
know?
it.
Just have fun, and that's the most important thing. Have fun, enjoy yourself, and be enthusiastic.
Yeah. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.